Hello and welcome. This is Heidi's Homemade, and this is episode 52, and this is going to be a combination of Flosstube and WIP Parade. I decided that I am not going to do two different videos. I'm just going to do one long one. So since WIP Parades are typically long, shouldn't it be a big deal? The WIP Parade will be at the end of the video, and the regular Flosstube content will be at the beginning. It has been a little over a month since I last filmed. Stuff has happened since the last time I filmed. And I do apologize if you hear my dogs in the background. They're chewing on bones and stuff. So, better that than barking. So there's that. So stuff has happened since I last filmed. The biggest thing is that my fiance was killed in a motorcycle accident. And so yeah, a lot of stuff is going on. I am okay for the most part. I've had a little bit of time to deal with stuff, and I guess, quite frankly, it's easier for me to not talk about it than to talk about it. But I wanted to put it out there because I'm sure I will reference something at some point during the video, and I want it to make sense. So there's that. Not a whole lot else going on in my life at the moment. So yeah, I do have some regular Flosstube content that I want to get through before I do my WIP Parade. I have some fully finishes. I have some finishes. I have some haul. I did go to the Jingle Ball. This year was different. I wasn't feeling it. So I didn't participate as much as I have before in previous years. I took my class, which was the Blue Flower class, which I think that if I had actually done the stitching, I probably could have finished it with her. But I'm glad that when I saw how easy it was that she did it, that I don't think I'll have any problem when I do actually finish the stitching. And I have the two patterns that go with that style of finishing. So I'm looking forward to stitching those whenever I get around to it. And I have some other pieces of haul other than what I got at the Jingle Ball. And then the other day, I felt like dyeing fabric. So I dyed a bunch of fabric. So I'm going to be showing you that. Some of which will probably end up on my Etsy shop. So if there's some that you are interested in, I will probably have that posted either later today or tomorrow. So check that out if you're interested in any of the pieces. Because quite frankly, I do not need like 40 pieces of fabric. I mean, I could, but I really don't need 40 pieces of fabric. So several of those will probably end up on my Etsy account. I am getting over a little bit of a cold. Sorry. As soon as I said that, I started coughing. So I might cough or something. But I have a drink, so that should help. So yeah, I don't know. There may be pausing it during the video because of having the dogs. And they're unpredictable. So there's that. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So first off, let's show some fully finishes, or fully finished for now, I guess. So a couple weekends ago at my library stitching, some of my stitchy friends had requested that I start showing them how to do some simple finishes. So I took this piece with me and showed them how to finish it in this block form. Hi, Lupin. Hi. Hi. Am I talking to the box? Yeah? Yeah? Hang on. Hang on. Trying to pause. Just a sec. Okay, so I took this to the library and showed them how to finish it. There's no glue and no sewing. So it's just pins. And you can kind of see them on the side. I kind of tried to make it decorative so that it kind of looked like I meant to do it that way. So I just finished this cute little piece. He stands by himself. I finished a small one. It's like right in there before, and it came out super cute. So I took this one and finished it at the library in front of my friends. It took me like 20 minutes. And that's because I was talking my way through it as I was doing it. Otherwise, it probably would have been faster. So there's that one. And this pattern was a freebie on Fat Quarter Shop's site. I don't remember what it was called. I changed all the colors. I didn't use the call for colors. But yeah, so there's that one. And I have like a weird glare, so I'm trying to not have all kinds of glare. This one is fully finished for now. I'm still debating about putting a, what's it called? Cording, that's the word. Spaced out there for a second. I'm still debating about putting cording around the edge. I probably will, but I don't know. I might just braid some flosses and put them on. So this one is Bendy Stitchy's design. It's a pendulum board, I think, something like that. So I cut out a 6-inch circle, and I used E6000. That's what it's called, right? E6000. Yeah, E6000 is right here. Lupin, go lay down. Go lay down. I don't have anything for you. You already ate your treat and Sirius's treat. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Get down. Get down. Sorry. Lupin is really wanting attention. So I glued it onto this board from, it's like a pedestal board from Hobby Lobby. Stained it, put some feet on it, and I think it came out pretty good. The glare is horrible. But I think I am going to put some kind of cording or something around the edge just to make it look smoother. Because there's a little bit, I laced the back of it. And there's a couple spots like right here, and there's one on the other side that are bothering me because they're not quite flush. So, so dropped it on the floor. So those are my two fully finished pieces. And then I have a couple pieces that I have finished, excuse me. So this one I finished a while ago, but I don't think I ever showed, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that. This one is, I can't remember what they called it. I think it was called Pumpkin Spice. It was in the Just Cross Stitch Halloween, I think it was last year's Halloween magazine. And it said pumpkin spice, but I decided to call it Witch's Brew. So, and I actually did two of these. But I haven't done the tag for it. For the second one, I'm still deciding if I want to do a tag for the second one or if I just want to do the 2 coffee cups. Because I'm not super happy with how this came out. So I might just do the 2 coffee cups and call it a day. Boys. So, serious? Why you gotta be a grumpy old man? So yeah, so there's that. And that is on 18 count perforated paper. So there's that one. Then the next one I have to show you, this one was a start and finish. It is Primrose Cottages, Snowman Kisses. I did the Harvest one last year. And I did it on the same fabric. So I did it to match it, kind of. I need to see if I can find the same kind of frame. It was a dollar store frame, so I'm pretty sure I can. So this is Winter Wishes and Snowman Kisses. And it is on 20 count raw. And it went super fast. I think it was like 2 sittings and I had it done. So there's that one. And then this one I have been working on for a while. This is Pink Cottages, Little Snowy Pink Cottages by Nora Corbett. And I have all the beads on there. It is on 32 count mint splash. And I intend, so fuzzy, I intend to put this in a white frame, but I'm thinking about putting a some kind of matting with it, so that's why I have not fully finished it yet. I think that is all of my, yes, Lupin, I know. Hang on. So anyway, that is all my finishes. So let's move on to haul, and then after that I will show fabric. So the first thing I have to show you is a bunch of patterns that I got on an eBay auction. So this was a set of patterns, and there's like a lot of them. So they are all Artsy Housewives. It was like a whole like set of Artsy Housewife. So there's this one, which is Grace. Summer Solstice. Lovely Dove. Midnight Garden. Pretty Bird. Pink Barn. This is Be Done in Love. So it says, let all you do be done in love. And the one that I actually wanted out of the whole thing is Byron Blackbird. So, not that I don't like the other ones, but the one I actually wanted out of the whole set was Byron Blackbird. So, okay. The next I got at the Jingle Ball, I got last year's Bubble Book and this year's Bubble Book. And I'm sure that you have seen those. And I got a bunch of PDFs. So, from Tiny Modernist, I got the Yule Goddess. Apparently did not have these in order. I also, from Tiny Modernist, got Festive Friends, because those are perforated paper, and since I'm doing a bunch of perforated paper stuff, I thought it would be cute to get something that's a little bit different. So there's those. Let's see, from Blue Flower, I got the holiday card. And I actually like both of them, so I'll probably end up doing both of them. Let's see. I feel like there was another one I got from her, but that's okay. Let's see. I got Hello from Liz Matthews, the Holly Wreath. From Pansy Patch Quilts, I got I Smell Snow. Lindy Stitches, I got Dust of Snow. So that guy. The Way a Crow Shook Down on Me, the Dust of Snow from a Hemlock Tree, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some parts of a day I rued. So, there's that one. Lupin, go lay down. Go lay down. I'm busy. I'm busy. Hang on. Okay, so the next one that I got was Hands On Design, Wreath House. Another Hello by Liz Matthews, Fa La La. Fa La La. And I do like the idea of possibly doing these as individual little ornaments. That one. Heartstrings Samplery. Marshmallow World. This is one of my favorite Christmas songs, so yeah, I had to get that one. See. All right, so these are some that I just have purchased off of Etsy. So I have Crochetta Go-Go's Little Penguin. And she was running a special that when you got a pattern, she gave you this free one. So the Tiny Village. And my printer was running out of ink, so some of these pictures are not the best. From Satsuma Street, I got, and it's really hard to see because it's very liney, sorry. Winter Woods. And I really kind of want to do this one as pieces because as cool as it is all together, I think doing it as like one square would be better. Lupin, what are you doing? I got Welcome Winter. I really like the birds. They're really cute. I got a couple stockings, though now I'm not sure I'm going to do them. Because like they were kind of specific to. So I got the Cosmic Christmas. And then I got the Sky High Santa. So they kind of went together, but they didn't. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do those anymore, or at least the one. I'm not sure. I don't know. So let me move those. All right. So that's all my haul. Let's move on to the fabrics that I have dyed. So, first up is this piece. And I'm just going to show them. I'm not going to talk about them too much because you can just see the colors. And this is actually coming through pretty true to color. These, all that I've just showed you, were originally 18 counts. So there's something like somewhere between 18 and 20 count is my guess. The dyeing process does squish them a little bit. And I have pressed all of these, so if it is a different size count or something, I will let you know. But so far, these are all 18 count. This piece is a piece of linen. And this is a piece that I had picked up from AZ Stitchers off the freebie table, and there was a little bit of stitching in it, which I think I'm going to pull out. I didn't do it before I dyed it, but I think I'm going to try pulling it out and see if I can save that. But this came out really pretty. Very, very warm colors. This piece. This is the lightest piece that I dyed. I've been experimenting with layering multiple colors and seeing how the pieces react. I'm not sure what count linen that was. I think it was 32. This one was originally a 14 count, so it's probably more like a 16. Loop in. Stop. This is 18 count again. 18 is what I typically use. Loop in, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. So there's a lot of 18 count. Here is another piece of linen. I think this one was also a 32 count. I might cut this one in half and go with that. Same thing with the other piece of linen, because these are huge pieces of linen. Okay, this one. And surprisingly, they're coming across very well in color. So there's a bunch of 18 counts. So if you like 18 counts and any of these are jumping out at you, like I said, check out my Etsy shop later. Today, tomorrow is when I plan on having whatever I decide to put up on there. I think a lot of these would look really good with like the Autumn Lane ones that are like mostly monochromatic. This is a 14 count. So it's more like, I guess, a 16 counts at this point. The lighter spots, and it's not coming, this one's not picking up quite as much. The lighter spots are more green than white. Oh no. Yeah. This one. And the lighter spots are more pink than white. This is also originally 14 count. Kind of see it. So those are more like 16 count. Back to 18 count. This one was our Rustico, like oatmeal, I think it was. And this one, I think this is also an 18 count. This one was a 14 count. So this one is more like a 16 count. Although this one I think held its a little bit more than some of the other ones have. So this one might be closer to a 14. Also 18. This one I think is a 22. And this was, I picked this up off of the freebie table, so there's like a chunk missing. There's that one. Piece. Some of the color variations are more splotchy than others. Some of them are a little more solid. A lot of 18 counts because I had like a couple like yardages of white 18 counts that I had gotten to experiment with dyeing. This one is a 14 count. And it's coming across a little bit whiter, but it's definitely like a greenish teal color. This one is also 14 count. And the whiter spots are purple. They're not really white. There's not really any whites on here. So, one more piece, and this is a little piece of, I think this is 22 count. It's a really pretty little teal color. So, that is all of my fabrics, and I'm going to pause for a second so I can get set up to do my WIP Parade. So hang on and I will be right back. Okay, so I am now as set up as I'm going to be with my WIPs around me. My table as cleared off as I could make it, so that way I have somewhere to set stuff. I do want to show you that this year I am going to try, no promises, but I'm going to try to do a planner basically just to keep track of my WIPs and what I've worked on. I still use my Notions app, but not quite as much because I don't want to pay for it. So it's harder to use it when you have paid for it and then you stop paying for it. They don't like that very much. So yeah, there's that. So I have all of my WIPs written down. I have 40 total. There are a couple that I have thought about either restarting or just not stitching on anymore. I might decide to, if anyone is interested in possibly finishing them, there's a couple that I'm kind of on the edge on about possibly not stitching on anymore. Sorry, the dogs are just not so much serious, but Lupin is just really all over the place today. So so this is a 3-year calendar. So basically, my plan is to just put down what I stitched on. I don't know if I'm going to put down like how long I stitch on them because I don't typically keep track, but just at least what I stitched on in a day. And sometimes there'll be multiple things, sometimes there'll be just one thing. So there is that. All right. So, I'm going to start with my newest WIPs, and then after I get through those, then it's just going to be whatever. Because it's whatever I'm going to be pulling out. So these you have not seen yet because I just started them either New Year's Eve or yesterday, New Year's Day. So they're all New Year's starts. I did join my friend Sandy. She's stitching with Sandy on Flosstube and Instagram. I did join her for her 12x12 Zoom that she does. However, by the time I was able to jump on, it was like 8 o'clock at night. So I didn't get to stitch as much as I had wanted to for New Year's. They shoot fireworks off like crazy here. And they start like as soon as it starts getting dark. Like as soon as like it starts to get like twilight, they start shooting off fireworks. And so I was pretty much just hanging out with the dogs for a lot of the time. And then once they kind of settled into the noise, then I put them to bed and went upstairs and jumped on the Zoom call. So, which I knew going into it that I wasn't going to have as much time to stitch as I normally would. So that is why I only started, I started 7 things for New Year's, and typically I would do 12. So there's that. So in no particular order, and these were all of them but one were my Christmas presents from the fiance. So that is why I started these particular projects. I probably, if it wasn't because of that, for that, I probably would have picked a couple other different ones that have been high on my I want to get those started list. But yeah, so the first one is Pine Crossing from Robin Pickens. And I'm using all the called for. And this is on Silvery Star from My Vintage Needle Arts, and it's a 16 count. I don't typically stitch on bigger counts like that, but usually it's like 18 or 20. But this was in my stash, and I thought that the silvery color looked really cool, more like snow. So that's the one that I went with. And I have not trimmed it because I don't plan on doing anything else with this fabric. So, but I have the middle tree almost done. And I think that's a pretty good start for only working on it for about an hour. So yeah, there's my start. I just have a little bit of the light teal color coming up in these blank areas, and then that tree will be done. And the trunk, that's the word, of the tree is only like a few stitches, so I'm kind of waiting until I get more of the trees done before I add in like the 6 stitches of the trunk. Because it doesn't make sense to me to pull out the floss to do just a couple stitches when I can wait and do a bunch of them at the same time. And I have this one organized on one of these old butterfly floss drops from like, I don't know, I think this is like from like the 90s. It was on the giveaway table at AZ Stitchers. And so I grabbed it because when they have the colors listed in numerical order, it's easy to use one of these because then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah. So there's the colors for that. Okay. Put that away. And this is in one of my bags. Almost all of them will be my bags, so there's that. Lupin, what are you doing? I'm using that. I'm using that. Yes. Okay, the next one. Lupin, stop. The next one that I have to show you is Gothic Mirror by Imaginating. And this one I am stitching on one of my fabrics that I dyed. And this is what I have so far. It's basically one strand. Excuse me. It's basically one strand of black. So I have like a quarter of the mirror done. It is like pastel purples and like a tealy green color. And it was 18 count, so it's probably more like 20. But I think it's going to look really cool on this color. Okay. So there's that one. And this one only has like 5 colors, so. And I'm using 1 strand on that one. I'm using 2 on the pine crossing. Okay, so then the next one is Fairy House by Cottage Garden Samplings. Part of the Fabulous House series. And I'm using all the called for colors. And I'm doing a 20 count oatmeal. And this is what I have so far. Truly a... Get back. Get back. Get back. I know. Truly a New Year's Eve start. Lupin. And I have not trimmed it. I need to get around to trimming it because it's a pain in the butt. Lupin. Look. There. See? Everyone's watching you. Everyone's watching. Yes, I know. Yes. I know. You need to get down now. Come on, down. Okay. Because it's a pain in the butt to have... Okay, hang on just a sec. Because yeah, it's a pain in the butt trying to stitch on that huge piece of fabric, and I really need to cut it down because it's only going to be like 6 by 6, and it's a huge piece of fabric. Okay, next up is Climb Every Mountain, and this is a Pigeon Coop Designs that was one of the bi-monthly boxes from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And I'm sorry for the crinkling. I didn't think that one through. So I'm using all the called for that came in the box, which I think is slightly different than the called for in, because I think this one is one that's in the book. Or it's a standalone or something. But this is what I have. So there's like one whole strand of the floss. And this is on 14 count, so I'm doing 2 strands. And that's the far edge right there, so. But that's what I have started. Next up is Satsuma Street, Wise Guy. Oh, so the Climb Every Mountain is the only one that he did not give me for Christmas. It's one that I had, that he was tossing around starting. So I started it. But anyway, Wise Guy from Satsuma Street. And this is the kit. This is the first time I've ever done one of her kits. Oops. And yeah, it goes like that. I don't have a lot done. I wasn't really feeling it when I started stitching on it, so I just stitched like, I think it's like 2 strands off of the piece that I cut, or the piece that was pre-cut. And then I put it away and started something else. But once I start stitching on this, it'll go super fast. It doesn't take me long to stitch these. I just wasn't feeling the stitching on the perforated paper, I think. I didn't put it into a project bag because it's not going to take me long to stitch it. So I figured just keeping it all together in the kit that it came in would be good enough. So, moving on. The next one is Night Signs by Tiny Modernist. And I am going to be stitching it all together like this and making it into a pillow. I think it's going to be about like a 14 or like somewhere between a 12 and a 14-inch pillow, I think. So yeah, so there's that. And I'm doing it on 20 count charcoal. And this is what I have so far. And I actually messed up on it because this inner line border was supposed to be a different color, but I was just cruising along, and when I like came down to like down here, I just kept going with the purple, and then I looked at the pattern and I was like, oh, that's a different sign. But that's easy. It's all DMC, so it's not like I'm like out of floss. So when I do the other 3 signs, I'll just make sure that when I do the border, I'll just carry that inner border with the same color, and then they'll all match, and nobody will know the difference, other than the fact that I just told you that I stitched it wrong. But I'm using all the called for DMC on that. And I have not trimmed this piece of fabric down yet either. But since it's going to be a bigger size, it doesn't bother me quite as much because most of the fabric is going to be used. And that is 20 count charcoal. Lupin, what are you doing? He's like moving Sirius's cage around. And then the last one of my New Year's new starts is Bad Stitch Neon Cicada. And I am stitching this on a piece of my own dyed fabric. And it's going to be about that big. And this is what I have so far. And I think that it's really looking cool on this fabric. And this is a 18-20 count. And I'm using all the called for colors. There's a couple of the blues that might blend a little bit with the fabric, but it's that way in hers too. These blues kind of blend right into the fabric, so I'm not too concerned with it. If I start stitching it and I decide that it's blending too much, because here's the colors. Very, very pretty palette. But a couple of these blues might blend a little too much into the fabric. So once I start stitching with those particular colors, it's just like this one and this one that I'm worried about. If I decide that they're blending a little too much, then I will just switch them out with a different color. So, not hard. All right, so those are all of my New Year's new starts. And let me just pop those back in my bag here. So I have them all in like a tote bag. Looping, get back. Okay, moving on. So this one, let's see, trying to get, I have tote bags around me. So like as I finish a tote bag. All right, so this one is the next one. And this one is from the 1900s by Screaming Heart Design. And it says, please be patient with me. I'm from the 1900s. Sorry, trying to figure out what Lupin's doing. And I am just doing my own colors on this. This is on a me dyed fabric. And so this is what I have so far. And the colors that I am using are collards, Carolina Cecil, and Cocoa. And I do have more of the collards, I just didn't put it in there because I think I'm going to need to go into another skein. So these are the three colors that I am going to be using with it. Because like where the white is in here there's like an accent color and stuff. So that is that piece. And this is eventually going to go into my classroom because I think it's funny. So and I have my thread magic in there because Weeks Dye Works. Weeks is not my favorite thread, but as long as I'm using the thread magic, it doesn't bother me that much. Lupin, what are you doing? Next up, I have Waxing Moon Designs. I have the Winter Littles and the Christmas littles. I have it kitted up for both. I started with the winter littles, and I started with the little fox girl. And this is on 20 count raw, and this is what I have so far. I would have been a lot further, except for I had stitched the blue border all the way around, and when I got over to here, it was like one box off. And so I had to pull out like all of this and get back up towards here where I got like one off and start to redo it. And since I did that, it has been in timeout. I was actually stitching on that during Jingle Ball. But I have all the fabric to do all of them. So that is those. Okay. This one was my birthday start. Lupin. Stop. He's like dragging Sirius's cage around. Okay. So this is my birthday start. This was the Blue Flower Forest Home. And there's a few people who are stitching this one. I am stitching it on 40 count raw. And this is what I have. I have the entire frame marked out. I don't have it fully stitched. So the way that I did it so that I could keep track is I did my half crosses, and then on the 10th one I put in a cross, and then kept going around it so that I could count it easy to give myself something to count off of as I stitch. So this is 40 count raw, and this is how big it's going to be. So it's not going to be super big because it's on 40 count. But I really like the color of the raw with it. I was looking at getting some kind of fancy fabric, some kind of over-dyed fancy fabric, but nothing was looking right with the color palette. And I'm using all the called for. And then I was looking at like the pre-cuts that I got that at the attic. I was looking at all the pre-cut stuff and came across just the regular raw and held up the because I was trying to make sure that the fancy flosses all looked good on the fabric, because the DMCs I could fudge, but I wanted to make sure that the fancy flosses all looked good. And there was one of the browns in the fancy flosses that just kept blending into the fabric, and I'm like, not doing it for me. But then I came across the raw, and it was fine. So okay. Then this one, it's in a Halloween bag, but it's a Christmas, because why not? And so last year I did Kris Kringle. This year I am doing Father Christmas by Prairie Schooler. And the way that I stitch these, I have all the pieces cut, and the way that I stitch them is I do like I color stitch. So I'll do one color, and then I'll find one that has a lot of that color, and I'll go on to that. So I'll do like 3 or 4 at a time. I'm currently stitching 3 of them. The one that is almost done is this guy. With like the brick red color, brick brown kind of color jacket. He's here carrying like a sack of something and some mistletoe. I just basically have on him, all I have left is one of his face colors, and then he'll be done. And then I have this one with the wreath. And then I have this one with the teddy bear in the pocket and the Christmas tree. And you can see that's where I was finishing off what I had of that already on my needle, and then I moved on. So I have 3 of them started out of the 8. And I think I intend to do all 8 of them. The Kris Kringle one, I might go back and do the other 2 that I didn't do last year. It's on 18 count vintage country mocha, and I picked up some more so that I had plenty to do them. But yeah, once I get done with those, I might go back and do the 2 of the other ones that I didn't do, and I don't remember why. I mean, one I didn't do because he was holding a nutcracker, and I'm not really a nutcracker fan. So I was like, and I didn't want to do like 7, so I did 6. So I picked another one that I was like, about. So I did like an even number of them. Okay, moving on. So this one I had taken to school with me so I could stitch on it when I had some time, either during my lunch or sometimes during my planning period if I was caught up with stuff. So Dream Journal Gothic, and this is on another huge piece. It's on a piece of 40 count Stormy Night, and I'm using Gentle Arts Blue Spruce. And this is meant to be finished as a book cover, as like a journal book cover. So I purposely like started stitching in the middle of the fabric. And I have almost all of the words done. And then I'll be able to go over and start on like the thought bubble. And then I'll probably do the girl's head last. So I have almost all the words done. I just have one more line of words. It's one more word really. It's just before. So when I pick that up, I'll be able to finish that and then go into the thought bubble and start stitching on that. So excited to be getting some movement on that one. I do really like that one. Well, I like most of the stuff that I'm doing. Like I said, there's a couple that I'm just kind of like, maybe not. But let's see. This one is from Just Cross Stitch 2022. Apothecary. This one I had messed up on and basically had restarted it. But it got quite a bit of stitching this year, and it's one of those that if I just like sat down and worked on it, it probably wouldn't take me long to finish it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Now that I have picked up some metallic threads, so this is where I'm at. And you can tell I have stitched in some of the metallic threads in the little labels that are hanging off of the jars. I don't have a whole lot left. There's like this little piece, a little bit going around here, a little bit here, and then there's like the spider web that comes across from Potions over to that, which is going to be done all in metallic. So I'm just kind of waiting to be in the mood to work with metallics, I think, because they are a pain in the butt. But, and that is on a 14 count, I don't know if this is a miscellaneous. It might be just a miscellaneous. I'm not entirely sure. But it's like a taupe kind of color. It also might be a My Vintage Needle Arts, but it doesn't have, I think it might just be a miscellaneous. It doesn't have her dyeing process is very unique, and you can tell from the back of the fabric that it's one of hers. Okay. Next is Autumn Lane Stitchery Bewitched. And this one has been lingering way longer than I was hoping it would be. I need to pick it up and give it some more love. I work on it here and there. But it's a lot more color block stitching than what I like. And I think is why it has lingered. Because I don't think I realized that it was going to be so much color blocking. And this is on a piece of 18 counts Haunted, I think. And this is what I have. So I have the whole bottom of her skirt done. Now I'm working on each color as I get to it in the color blocking of that. So there is that. And this is a softer fabric, so I use a hoop on this one. And that annoys me as well. So, but it looks cool, so I'm not, I will do it. This is not one that I'm thinking of stopping. I will do it. I will finish it. It's just going to take me longer than I would like. Okay. Next up is Doreen Jones Christmas Owl, and this is the one that I started. I am not stitching the blue background because I'm stitching it on blue fabric. And I don't think I've stitched on this year, honestly. But this is where I'm at. Honestly, if I just finish one, I would probably be happy. This is on 18 count Bluebird from My Vintage Needle Arts. So there is him. Next up, and I haven't stitched on this one this year either. This is Les Petits Crocs, and this is Reindeer Christmas Gnome. And there's a lot of backstitch in that. This one is on 18 count white. And that's where I got with him. One of these days I'll pick him up and start stitching on him. The fact that he has so much backstitch in him has probably like slowed me down a little bit on that. But there's also a lot of color changes. This one is a whole set that I'm doing, but the one that I'm currently stitching on is in the Leafy Treetops, and this is Under the Garden Moon is the design. I picked up the whole set of these. There's like 5 of them at the attic one time. It was sold as like a whole little bundle. And I had finished the one as a really big. This is on 25 count even weave. And so I finished the really big one. And then in the corners around it, I was working. This is that little guy. So I'm almost done with the bird itself, and then I just have the like thingy that goes around him. Like it's almost like a little wreath. But he is being stitched 1/1 on 25 count. And I should have enough space in each one of the corners to do the other three in the series, so that they're all in the same color. Because my initial intention was to make the one big pillow and make a bunch of little pillows to go with it. So there's that. Okay. Next up is Aspen Mandela by Ink Circles. And this one is on a 14 count. It's a 14 count Gentle Rains, but I don't remember the dyer that I got it from. It was a shop on Etsy, and I don't know where I got it from. But this is what I have so far. And I picked this. I wouldn't have normally picked a 14 count, but it's the color that looked as close to the color in the picture as I could get from my stash. So, and that big part is done, and I'm working on filling in the leaves in it. So, but it's an ink circle, so it's gonna be hanging around for a little while. I have stitched on this one a few times this year, so I'm not too worried about it. This is one that I'm not sure I want to finish, to be honest. I do not have a picture of it because it was a mystery stitch along, but it has since been released in a different colorway. But this is, I think it's called Yule Ball by Bendy Stitchy. And it was a Forbidden Fiber Co. mystery stitch along a couple years ago. And it's on opalescent fabric. And the colors are really interesting. They're all Forbidden Fiber Co. colors, obviously. But I don't know. It just doesn't speak to me. But maybe I just need to stitch on it a little bit to get interested in it again. I don't know. It's one that I don't think I touched at all this year. If I did, it probably was very briefly, because I don't think there's any new real stitching in it. So there's that. And then this one I have not stitched on this year because I got frustrated with it, so it's been in timeout. I will pick this one up again because it is one of my favorite pieces. This is Lila Studio Nevermore. And in case you hadn't noticed, this is like the same quote from the Gothic. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, quoth the raven nevermore. So, slightly different part of the verse, but still the same verse. So, this one is on 18 count Morning Mist from Forbidden Fiber Co. And I'm using the Forbidden Fiber Co. color conversion. And that's where the problem was. So they did not give me enough floss in the floss pack that came with it. And a couple of the colors I can't get anymore. So I'm trying to figure out how to finish it and without it looking weird, basically. And this is kind of a softer fabric too, so I have to use a hoop with it. But that is where I'm at. I might go back onto their website and see if a couple of the colors that I couldn't get before might have been restocked. And because they are such over-dyed flosses, even though they would be completely different dye lots, it wouldn't make too much difference because they are such over-dyed flosses. So I might get back on there and see if I can't get some more flosses for that. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second, put this stuff away so I can get on to my last bag. So hang on. It'll be a second for you, but it'll be like 10 minutes for me. Okay, so moving on to my last tote. Lupin? Really? Hang on. Okay, so moving on. This one is witchy, and that's what it looks like. And this was from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 21 edition. And I have not stitched on this at all this year, but when I was getting stuff together to get ready to film this video, I was looking at it, and I think I want to take it out and work on it. Looking at it, trying to figure out where I'm at on it. So this is what I have, and it is on 18 count Smoky, I think. It's My Vintage Needle Arts. It's a scrap off of a bigger piece that I used for something else. So I have like the center section of the hat done. And it's very confetti, and I think that's why I stopped working on it, because it was very confetti. And I think at the time I was missing one of the colors, but I have a complete set of DMC, so that shouldn't be the case anymore anyway. So it's part of a little stack of ones that I had kind of pulled together to try to get finished, because they shouldn't take that long. The next one I have is, do I have a picture of this one? I do not. So this one is called Scandi Christmas, and it is from Just Cross Stitch Christmas 22 edition. And this one I had restarted. This is the second rendition of this one. And this is on a random piece of white Aida. Actually, it might be antique white. It's a little bit off. But do you see how crooked the fabric is? Like, it bothers me. And yeah, I don't know. If I just worked on it, it probably wouldn't take me long to finish it. And I'm leaving all the white empty, so I'm literally just using two colors. But I also was like, I don't know. I don't like how it's all crooked. Like the stitches themselves look like weird because it's crooked. So I don't know. I might decide to just start it again on a different piece of fabric, because I think that was annoying me. So I don't know. I don't know. It's one that if I was actually working on it, like seriously working on it, it would probably take me like a day of stitching to get it done. And I really do like the pattern. It's not the pattern that's the problem. It's the fabric. And it was the fabric choice I used before. Actually, it was the design choice I used before. So originally I had started it with the reddish color, the teal color, and white, because that's what's called for. But I'm like, why am I stitching the white if I'm putting it on white fabric? So I decided to do it differently. So, all right. Next up is American Coast by Chessie and Me. It was a kit that I picked up at the attic. And I'm not gonna take it out of the little hoop that it's in. I obviously was working on because Chessie and Me is like notorious for having sections of their little patterns 1/1 on, like, you know, this is 36 count. So I was in the process of stitching the little 1/1 boat and apparently walked away from it like mid-stitch. But it's all done with Gloriana silks, and once I get done with the boat, there isn't a whole lot left. I have the little stars and the flag and like the windows in the house, I think, is all that I have left. So I just need to give it some time, and if I did that, then it would be fine. But I don't know why I haven't picked this up and stitched on it. It just hasn't been high priority, and it's not something that's like, oh, I must have that done. So I don't know. But I have it in my stack of things that I could get done quickly if I just worked on them. Next up is one that I think I am going to restart because I don't like the fabric that I have it on, because the fabric is just really stiff and I don't like how it's stitching. And this is Hoot Magic by Mama Witch Stitcher on Etsy. And I like the pattern. The colors are fine. The color I'm stitching on is fine. I just don't like, it's very, I don't like the fabric, like the fabric itself. So that's as far as I got. And this might be one that I pick one of my dyed fabric that I just dyed. Pick one of the ones that's kind of a blue tone and stitch and restart it on that. It's just, it's almost like stitching on perforated paper as how this fabric is. And don't get me wrong, I like stiff fabric because I stitch in hand. If you could call it in hand. I more or less lay it like this and stitch, and I don't really hold the fabric. But it's just annoying me. And I think one of the reasons, as I'm looking at it, is because I am stitching it with 2 strands on 18 count. And since I started this 2 years ago for 12 by 12, I have since stopped using 2 strands on 18 count and only stitch 1 strand on 18 count. So that might be one of the problems too, is I'm just trying to stitch with too much thread. So this one I think is going to be a restart when I pick it up again. And I think now that I've like decided that I am restarting this piece, I might pick it up and give it some love sooner rather than later. So there's that. Next up is, this is one that I am seriously considering not continuing with. And this is Hope is Greater Than Fear by Forbidden Fiber Co. It is a Hunger Games piece. And the biggest problem I have with this is that it's on 14 count. And I just do not enjoy working on this on 14 count. It's too big. It goes like this. It's huge. It was a kit that I bought, and you know what? If you're interested in adopting this piece, I will literally pop everything into a mailer, the bag and everything, and send it to you with all the flosses, and I will adopt that one out. If you're interested, put in the comments hope. And if I have people, then I will do a random drawing. If I only have one, then I guess you're going to get it. But I will message you or I'll do a drawing if I have multiple people who are interested in it for my next video. Okay. This is another one that I have not touched at all this year. I haven't touched it. This one I have not totally decided. That one I touched this year, and I really did not enjoy stitching on it. But this one I have not touched this year, and I don't want to make any decisions on it until I touch it again. But this is this was a mystery stitch along from Forbidden Fiber Co. from a couple years ago, and it's called Haunted House, and it is using an opalescent fabric, and this is where it's at, and this is where it's been at since I initially started it. I do need to just pick this one up and start working on it again. And I think, honestly, one of my problems with this is that I'm using 2 strands. Let me look. Yeah, I'm definitely using 2 strands. And it's on 18 count. So I think if I were stitching this, I'd almost want to take it out and restart it using 1 strand, because I think I would be happier with it. The fabric is a little bit rough to stitch on because the opalescent like messes with my eyes. But I don't know, maybe if I restarted that one, it wouldn't be such a slog to get through. But I have all the called for colors because it is a Forbidden Fiber Co. So that one, I don't know. I haven't decided on that one yet. Next up is, okay, this one is Acorn House by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. This is number 8 in the series. I started from the back, so I did the Harvest House was number 9, and this one is almost done. So this is what I have. It's very close to being done. Last time I worked on it, I went up here and started on the vine. And this is on a piece of no-name fabric that I picked up off of Amazon a while back. But there is that. Next one up. Okay, and then this one is ink circles. This one I have not touched this year either, simply because it's not something that's been calling to me. I like it, and I need to pick it up and work on it, but it is Damask Square. I started it for 12 by 12, I think 2 years ago. And I'm doing this on 32 count Bloody Mary. It goes like this. And I'm using Ohio Lemon Pie by Gentle Arts. So that is that. I need to pick it up and start working on it again, because I do like it, and I like the color combination that I chose. It just hasn't been high on my priority list to get done. Okay, this one was also one that I started either as a... Oh, you know what? That one might have been a Mania start. This one was a Mania start. And this is Perfect Posy. And this was from one of the Caterpillar Cross Stitch bi-monthly boxes. And I don't think I've stitched on it this year. This is what I have. Not my thing, because I'm not a cat person, but I was thinking that it would make a really cute smalls exchange. So that's why I was going ahead and working on it. And honestly, some of these ones that I have gotten from the Caterpillar Cross Stitch boxes that I'm just kind of like on, I think are going to end up being smalls exchanges at some point, as I get around to finishing them, because I mean, I do like stitching, so, and it doesn't really, those type of things don't usually take too long, so I'm not using a ton of time to finish something, but other people might enjoy them. So this next one is Bloom and Grow from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This was a stitch along that I picked up as a kit well after the stitch along was done. And here I am. Oops, sorry, Sirius. My bag just fell on top of Sirius. And that one is a lot of color blocking as well, which is what they're kind of known for, because most of their designs are for like beginner stitchers, and beginner stitchers appreciate all the color blocking. But I not so much. But that one, I do like the pattern, so I'm not in any way going to stop working on it. This one, I do not have the most recent picture of this. I need to go on and print them. I might put this to the side so I remind myself. But this is the Deadly Aquarium, the Lola Crow stitch along that she put out this summer. I did not stay up on it. At all. I got a decent amount of stitching in on it. I purposely left more on the bottom because I knew there was going to be a bunch of stuff on the bottom. But I also knew that this piece of fabric was going to be super tight, and I'm not going to be able to do the stingray that's jumping out which doesn't really bother me too much, but yeah. So I need to print out the rest of the pattern so that when I do decide to take a look at this and begin stitching on it again, I will have it ready to go. This is on 20 count turquoise from My Vintage Needle Arts. That. Almost done. Only have a few more. Okay. Next up is my only St. Patrick's Day ones that I'm doing. And I might even change what I'm doing with these. So this is the Twin Peak Primitives St. Patrick's Day Smalls from 2023. I am currently working on this guy, and holy green Batman. So much green. It's kind of boring to stitch, to be honest. So that's one of the reasons why it's still lingering. This is what I have. I did pick this up after my last WIP Parade and put in some more stitches. I have the pieces cut for all of them, but I might get through one and say I'm good. They are much bigger than I anticipated, and this is on an 18 count white. So he's a good size for a small. So there are a couple pieces that I have pre-cut for some of the smaller ones, so I might take a look at those. I think it's just way too much green color blocking for me, and so I'm not enjoying stitching on it. Okay, that one. This one is one that I started last year for 12 by 12. It was one of my starts. This is the Priscilla's Pockets Stoneware Pin Pillows 3. I completed 1 and 2, and I think I just kind of lost steam on wanting to get this one done. Even though I really like this bird one. I really like that one. It's so much different. It's so different than the ones that I've done previously. But I mean, I do intend to do it. It hasn't been top priority. So all I have is the first one that I started, and I think he goes like this. I'm using Gentle Arts Black Raspberry Jam, and this is on Vintage Country Mocha. And each set that I did was on a different color, but it's all in this same kind of tone. So I had like platinum, and I had, I don't remember, but it was 3 different complementary colors, so that they, like, you could tell they were a set, but they weren't like matchy. So I have those, but that's where I've got on that, and I have all the pieces cut for each one of those pin pillows. And eventually I will pick that up and start working on it. And it's a 36 count? Yeah, 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. All right, next up is, do I even have the next one started? Oh, I don't. Okay, well, I don't have anything to show for this one, so I'm not really sure it's a WIP. But the Christmas in Blue, I did this one, and this one. All I have left is this one. And I was debating whether I even wanted to do this one because I'm not a big snowman person. It makes me think of my mom though, so I might do it. But I have the piece ready to work on it, and I have it all kitted up. I didn't realize I hadn't started it yet. So this one is the only one left of the set that I have not finished. But I have nothing to show because I haven't started it yet. But I have all the colors and it's all ready to go. So maybe one of these days I will pick it up and do it. They don't take long to stitch. So this one is one that I also have not touched, I think, since my last WIP Parade. This is White Christmas 2022 from Primrose Cottage. And this one is, I think, I'm not super keen on working on this one because it is the fabric that I have it stitched on. So I have this one is complete. And the snowman, I have all the white stitching done, so I was in the process of working on the blue background stitches, wherever I'm at there. I was in the process of working on the blue background stitches, and then I have just a few little stitches left to do after that, but it's all that blue. And then I have enough of the same one to do the other two, but I don't know. I think it's on like a natural, it's a piece from Amazon. I know that because it's like a funky, it's not stiff, and it's not soft. It's like a weird texture. But I don't know. It might just be I need to just pick it up and work on it and get it done. I don't know. But that's that. And okay. This one is another caterpillar cross stitch, and it is How Does Your Garden Grow? Another one that was released as a stitch along that I got well after the stitch along was over. I just bought it as a kit, and so I'm using, jeez, get it back in there. It was like caught on the floss card thingy that they use. So I'm using just the called for stuff because it's all kit. So, jeez. And this is what I have. A lot of color blocking. And there's a lot more stitching than what you would think. I'm about halfway done with it. But I like that one, so I tend to pull this one out randomly and start working on it. There's that one. Then, okay, I only have 3 left. This one is Gathering Snowflakes from Luminous Fiber Arts. And this one was a 12 by 12 start last year. And this one, I think I need to restart it because I think at some point I got off on my counting. It's on a piece of 40 count True Blue from Fox and Rabbit. And I'm doing just B5200 on the blue. But I think at some point I got off on my counting, so I think I might need to pull out my stitches and start it again. So I think that's why I kind of put it in timeout. And so I think because I was, you know, doing a Zoom call and stitching on it, and I think when I pulled it out after the fact and was looking at it, trying to figure out where I wanted to start stitching on it again, I think I realized that it was slightly off. So there's that. Next up is this was my leap year start. And this is Dorian Jones' Green Man. And this one I really like. Hers stuff tends to be backstitch heavy, but this one has no backstitch. I am doing it on 20 count Mimosa Green. And this is where I'm at. And it'll be like something like that. So that's where I'm at. It's a lot of lines that kind of blend, like stack on top of each other to blend, to get the look of having backstitch without having backstitch. So it's very stitch intensive. It's like a full coverage basically. So there's that. And then my last one is Bendy Stitchy's Haunted Mansion. I did a start along for this one with my friend Melissa. And this one I need to give a little more love, and it should be done, honestly. So this is where I'm at. There's a lot of backstitching in this one. So I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't just finished it, because I'm done with the house and I'm working my way into this last part where the tree is, and then the border piece that goes back this way and goes that way. And then there's a couple stitches here and there that I need to go back and fill in because I ran out of that color floss and I just moved on to the next one. But once I get done with the basic stitching, then I have to do the back stitching. And as much as it's going to look cool, because the back stitching really makes it pop, I am not a fan of back stitching. So there's that. Okay. Now that my dogs have finally settled down, I am now done. That is all. Yes. That is all of my WIPs. So, almost 2 hours, but it's a WIP parade. It's supposed to be long, right? I don't really have any actual plans other than to try to keep up with my planner to like notate what I'm stitching on and starting. More so because I don't want to rely on notions to keep track of my WIPs. So, going to try to get back onto my every 2 weeks videos. No promises. It's just kind of how it goes is how it goes. But yeah, I think that's it. So if you got this far, thanks for watching. If you're interested in adopting the Hunger Games piece, put type hope in the comment section below. And if I have several people, then I will do a drawing. If I only get one, then I guess you're getting it. So, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And like the video and all the, the YouTube stuff. So, yeah. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks.